Let's kick things off with a pretty huge question, right? What even is reality? And maybe even more important, what part does your own consciousness play in all of it? That's the puzzle we're going to tackle in this explainer.
So let me ask you something. Think about it for a second. The world you're experiencing, like right this very moment, is that the real world? Or is it maybe just a story your mind is telling you? It's a wild thought, but that question right there, it's the key to everything we're about to get into.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll set up the core puzzle. Then, we'll look at 3 key domains of reality. After that, we'll see how the world and your mind actually meet. We'll build a model to picture it. And finally, we'll talk about why this whole thing really, really matters to you.
Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, we've got to wrap our heads around the basic puzzle we're trying to solve here.
So here's the big idea, the central question for today. You've got the world, as it is, and then you've got what you know about the world. Now, what if those two things aren't really separate? What if the only place they ever actually come together is inside your own conscious experience? Now, to really get this, we're going to need a few key building blocks. Think of these as the tools we need to put this whole model of reality together. Okay, so these 3 domains are called the ontic, the epistemic, and the phenomenological. Yeah, I know, they sound super academic and complicated, but trust me, the ideas behind them are actually pretty straightforward. Let's break down what each one really means. All right, first up is the ontic. The easiest way to think about this is it's just reality, objective reality. It's all the physical stuff of the universe, matter, energy. It's the classic tree falling in the forest when no one's around. It exists, whether we're there to see it or not. It just is. Okay, next we have the epistemic domain. Now this is not the forest itself, but it's our knowledge of the forest. It's like our mental map, right? It's filled with all the concepts like tree, leaf, forest. It's basically our internal library for understanding the world. And that brings us to the third one, the phenomenological. And honestly, this is kind of the magic ingredient. This is your lived, conscious experience. It's that exact moment when you're in the forest, you see the tree, you feel the wind, and your mind goes, oh, that's a tree. See? It's the point where what is, the actual tree, and what is known, your concept of a tree, finally click together.
Okay, so we have our building blocks. Now let's start putting them together to see the bigger picture. How exactly does consciousness become this ultimate bridge between the physical world out there and our minds in here?
So on one hand, you've got that ontic world we talked about, objective reality. It's just out there doing its thing. And then, way over on the other side, you have our epistemic world, all our knowledge and concepts. And without something to connect them, they're basically 2 separate universes, right? You'd have a world that exists, but nobody knows about it, and a bunch of ideas with nothing real to attach to.
And this is the core argument. Consciousness isn't on one side or the other. It is the bridge. It's this incredible, unique space where the physical world finally becomes known, and all our abstract knowledge gets to be grounded in something, real.
So what does this actually look like when you put it all together in one model? Let's try to visualize this tri-layered reality.
Okay, so at the very bottom, let's put our foundation, the physical ontic domain. This is the raw stuff of the universe, the bedrock.
Then, way up at the top, we have that non-physical, epistemic layer. This is the world of meaning, of concepts, of intentions. And what connects them? Right there in the middle, you have the phenomenological field. And what is that? That's you. That's your consciousness. It's the meeting ground, the unifying space where the physical world below and our ideas about it from above all merge into one single, seamless, lived experience.
But here's what's so cool. It's not a one-way street. Of course, there's a downward flow from the world to your mind. We call that perception. But, and this is absolutely crucial, there's also an upward flow from your mind back out to the world. We call that action. An idea, a pure concept in your head, can actually lead you to physically change the objective world. And it all happens through that bridge of consciousness.
Okay, so this is a really neat philosophical model, for sure. But so what? What's the big takeaway here? Why should this matter to you in your day-to-day life? Here's the most important part, really. It means that objectivity and subjectivity, they aren't enemies. They're not opposites. They're actually partners in the same dance. Think about it. All the raw data of the universe,
all that information, it only becomes meaningful when it enters a conscious mind, like yours. Consciousness is the place where the universe basically gets to show up and be known. And at the same time, it's where our knowledge stops being just an idea and becomes a real active force in that universe.
You know, the philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty put this so perfectly. He said, "Consciousness and the world are given together. The world is not what I think, but what I live through." Wow. That phrase, "what I live through," that's everything. That's the key to this whole idea.
So, if we were to boil it all down, it's this. Your consciousness is not just some passive camera that's recording the world. No way. It is the active, dynamic zone where reality becomes knowable and where knowledge becomes real. It's where the universe, in a way, becomes aware of itself, through you. And it's the place where your ideas can reach back out and actually shape that very universe.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. If your lived experience really is that magical place where the world and your knowledge of it finally meet, then what does that say about the reality you are creating every single moment of every single day?